Hello and welcome to Regrowtech India. I'm your host, Durreen, bringing to you yet another episode on the Java Beginners Interview Series. So, in today's episode, we are going to do a program related to the for loops. Now, we have done something similar, but we have used while loops in order to attain it. In this session, however, we are going to use for loops to do the same. Now, let's get on the screen and see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about factorial of a number. So first, those who do not remember as to what factorial is, let's talk about what is a factorial. Let's say factorial of a number 3. By the way, we write 3 and exclamatory point or exclamation mark. That means 3 factorial. 3 factorial basically is 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. Okay, so till the number, the factorial. Similarly, 5 factorial would be 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. Now, factorial of 3, for instance, will be 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Factorial of 5 would be 1 multiplied by 2, 2 multiplied by 3. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, 6 multiplied by 4 is 24, 24 times 5 is 120. So factorial of 5 is 120. This is what we need to print using the for loop. Now we have done something similar using the while loop. So in order to get the factorial of an integer n, let us say which is 5, we used to first start by taking an int I equals 1, and then we used to say while I is less than equals to n, then we used to have factorial is equals to f times I and I plus plus, okay, in order to increment the I. And since we are taking f is equals to f into I, here we would generally take int f is equals to 1. We have done this in one of our previous videos where we were talking about while loops, right? If you haven't already seen the video, I will be putting down the links below, and you can go ahead and see what does the program look like and what might be the dry run of it. Now, this is something that we will not be focusing on. What we will be focusing on is using or printing the factorial of a number using a for loop. Now, a little bit about for loop. In a for loop, we have 3 things. First is the start value, then there is an end condition, and then there is a step count. And for the number of times this loop is repeated, whatever is the code written in the curly bracket repeats with it. Okay. For example, the generic way of writing this is let's say if we want to run a loop from 1 to 5, so we simply write int I is equals to 1. Your variable could be anything. I'm just very comfortable with I. So int I equals 1, I less than equals 5, I plus plus. And if let's say I want to simply print I, so I'll write system dot out dot print ln I. Okay. Now, how does this work is, first of all, we have already done several dry runs, so I think it must be already understood by now, but since we are taking a question such as factorial, it might be a better idea to have a better understanding of how does the loop work, right? So first of all, we go inside the loop, and the first thing the Java compiler checks is what is the start value. The start value is I equals to 1. Then instead of going inside, it actually goes to check the condition. Okay. Now I, which was 1, it is checked for the condition I less than equals to 5. So I should be either less than 5 or it should be equals to 5. In both cases, condition is considered to be true, right? So I here is 1 and it is less than 5. The condition is true, meaning it will go inside, and it will see whatever is to be done on the inside of the curly brackets. So here we are simply saying system.out.println I. So there will be an output section where we will get I. Right now I is 1, 1 will be printed. Now from here, since it finds the end curly bracket, it does not go outside. Instead, it goes back and checks what is the step count. Okay. So first step is the initialization part. Then it checks the condition, then it goes to the inside, and then number 4, it goes back to the step count. Okay. Step count में it does I plus plus, meaning I equals I plus 1. I, which was 1, it will be incremented by 1 and it will become 2. And then the condition is checked again. Number 5 goes back to the condition again. Okay. Now, so again it checks the condition I is less than equals to 5, which 2 is less than equals to 5. The condition holds true. We are happy. So it goes inside. Right? Again, step number 3 is performed. So 3, 4, 5. Again, 3, 4, 5 is performed again and again. The steps 3, 4 and 5. Okay. So now 2 will be printed again. It will go back to I and it will do I plus plus 3. Condition will be checked. 3 is less than 5. Happy. It will go inside. It will print 3. And so on. Basically, that is the case. So first initialization. So it does not go back to initialization again. Right? First the initialization happens and then it checks the condition. If the condition is true, it goes inside. Then it goes back to the increment, checks the condition. If it is true, goes inside. If the condition is not true, it will directly jump out of the for loop. That's all. Right? For a factorial, however, just few minor changes that we will do, which I'd like to show you directly on the Eclipse board. So let's go ahead and check out the code. So here is a fresh new class that I have already created, and we will just go ahead and write the code. So I want to take an int n as 5, considering I want to find the factorial of 5. Now, we will run a for loop that will go from 1 till n value. So int I is equals to 1, I less than equals to n, and I plus plus. So there will be a loop which will run on the variable I. The value of I will keep changing from 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5, which is the value of n. And each time this happens, we will take a variable int f and we will say it is equals to 1. I will be explaining as to why we are taking f is equals to 1. Because if we take f equals to 0 and later if we write f equals f times I, 0 multiplied by anything will fetch you 0. Again in the next loop, 0 multiplied by 1 is equals to 0, 0 multiplied by 2 is equals to 0, so eventually the factorial will be 0. That's why we take the factorial as 1, because 1 multiplied by anything is the number itself. 1 multiplied by 5 is 5, 1 multiplied by 10 is 10, right? That is the reason why we have taken int f equals to 1 as the initialization. And then last but certainly not the least, once the loop is over, we will go ahead and print the factorial. So I want to say factorial of, and because I'm feeling a little fancy, I will say join it with n and then go ahead and say is and then join it with f value. Let us go ahead and check. So factorial of 5 is 120. If I say factorial of 3, so let us check. Factorial of 3 is 6. We've already calculated that. Factorial of 76 is, let me save it. Yeah, is 0. Okay. I have no idea how that happened, but it might be something. I think it might be because the factorial of 76 is way too big. Let me try with say 32. Yes, that answers my question as to why for 76 we got 0. So for 76, what might have happened is that the number was way too big, which would have gone out of the integers range. That is why it showed up as 0, right? Now let me try factorial of say 12. A smaller number, comparatively smaller. So the answer is way too big. Okay. So basically 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a big number, right? Because we are multiplying. If it were addition, then it would have been much easier, much smaller actually. Cool. So we'll go ahead, write an even smaller number and check the value. And last but certainly not the least, we'll go ahead and do the dry run of it. So, oh no. Okay, we'll go back to the whiteboard. Ooh, colorful. Okay, we'll go here. We'll just quickly go ahead and put in the code. We'll increase the size and yeah, maybe just a teeny weeny size for this. Perfect. So first of all, we have a variable int n equals 3. So there will be a variable n for 3. Then in the next line, we have integer f equals 1. So f is 1. Then int I is also 1. And we know that the condition will be checked. So I is less than equals to n. I is 1, n is 3. So I is less than 3. Happy. It will go inside. It will do f equals f times I. Right? Now f is 1, I is 1. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. So 1 will be cancelled. We will get 1 instead. Okay. It will not go outside the loop. Again, it reaches this curly bracket. It will go back and it will do I plus plus. So I plus plus means 1 will become 2. It will check the condition. The condition is I less than or equals to n. I is 2, n is 3. So I right now is less than 3. Condition is true. It will go inside. It will do f times f equals f times I. So first of all, f times I should be solved. Now f is 1, I is 2. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. So it will be now stored in f only. So 2 will be now stored in f. Okay. Now again it will go back and I plus plus will happen 3. And then the condition will be checked. I equals I less than n. So I is 3. N is also 3. Oh, by the way, it is not less than, it's less than or equals to. Here they are equal, meaning condition is still true. So again, we'll have f equals f times I. So f times I will be solved first. Now f has 2 right now and I has 3. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Now 6 will be stored in f only. So this 2 will be gone and instead 6 will come. Now again it will go back and it will do I plus plus. Now I will become 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now 4 is, the condition will be checked. Now 4 is neither less than nor equals to n, because 4 is, I is 4 and n is 3. The condition is I less than equals to n. So right now I is greater. Condition is false, meaning it will fall through. It will come down to the next line after, right after the loop, the curly bracket of the loop. So here we have system.out.println factorial of n. So it will write something like this in the output. Factorial of, it will print the normal text. Now n is a variable, so n value is 3. So 3 will be printed. Is a text, so is will be printed, and f right now is 6. The last value of f is 6, so 6 will be printed. So factorial of 3 is 6. This is how it is going to be printed. I hope this question is easy for you. I have tried to explain it in the most easiest way possible, and I hope you have understood it. So with that, I'll be ending this video. If you have any more questions for me to take up, please put them on the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Have a great day ahead.